Hello there, students. This is Bill Swersky calling in from Chicago, Illinois. We've got a nice spring break snow going on here behind us, and I've been asked by your teacher to come and give you a guest lecture. I happen to be quarantined inside of Ditka's, and I just finished off a fridge burger. That's a full pound of pure Illinois meat. Delish. I won't be hungry for a few minutes. So he's asked me to teach you some Latin in that meantime there. Now, from time to time, I might have a Ditka spotting, so I'm going to have to pause the lecture to make sure that it's not the coach. You know, the greatest of all the coaches you ever seen. So let's get into our text here. The text. Here we go. Now, your teacher told me that in your previous classes, you had been talking about Jesus coming back over to the side there of the Sea of Galilee. Now, when he done that, you see, the crowd gathered again, and they were pressing in upon him. That's what we see there in verse 24. So we're in verse 25, and what we see in verse 25 is that there was a woman, a mulier, and she was, now this is interesting in Latin. Sometimes people in other languages, they speak with accents that are funny, that maybe don't make the most sense to us. You know, like sometimes we head up to Wisconsin there to hear the cheeseheads talk about the Packers, but we know they're lousy because the Bears are the greatest. So let's get into it. Anyway, so this woman, she's got a flow of blood, and that sounds pretty weird to me. I don't know what they mean. Maybe she was in a fight. I doubt it, though. It's real ambiguous in the text here. But she was in a flow of blood. That's strange. Then we have this unis. Now, what we'd be expecting to see, if it was classical Latin, is we would see anos. That's an accusative of time duration. But what we've got in the text is we've actually got an ablative of time when. So in 12 years. That's not what we'd expect, but you know, that's what you got. So we'd probably translate it again for us in English, like the right people speak, like the Bears. Then we would see she had a flow of blood, or she had an issue of blood, a blood issue for 12 years there. So that's what we would say. There was a woman who had a flow of blood for 12 years, and there had been fuet. This is a pluperfect. It tells us about what happened to the woman before she came to Jesus. Oh, wait, 1 second. I had some Polish sausage delivered from Maxwell's Polish Sausage. So, yeah, just bring it in. See, Ditka's doesn't have all the things I like to eat, and haven't already finished my burger. I just need a little bit of Polish sausage here. Oh, yeah, that's real good. That's real good. The Polish. Spot on. Hits the spot. All right, let's get back to the text. So it says, she had been, this is a pluperfect passive, pardon me. I lost my pencil there. Oh, there it is. All right. She had been much perplexed. She's being mistreated here, see, students. The doctors who said that they could heal her, they hadn't. So she had been much mistreated, had been much abused, had been much mishandled by, and I need to change where the text is, by cum pluribus medicis, by many doctors. So, you know, just like sometimes in the modern world, where you have doctors who are experimenting, or they're carrying on certain new medical research, and they don't know what they're doing. For example, the last 3 heart attacks I had, they tried 3 different kinds of medical treatments on me. They were all experimental. None of them stopped the next one. Doctors, what do they know? You know? All right. So she'd been mistreated by many doctors for 12 years, and they had asked everything. They had cost all her everything. That is, she had spent everything she had. This woman's gone poor. She couldn't even buy a sausage if she wanted it because of these doctors who took all her money. So it's a rough position she's in here. This is, again, a neuter accusative plural here. It's a substantive adjective. Nothing too fancy that you're not used to. Let me just have a little more of this sausage here. Oh, that's hits the spot. You just go to Maxwell Sheet Polish. It's right there by Comiskey, where the Sox play. It's the best. Have some of that. All right. And look here. Nothing was accomplished. Quicquam here. Quisquam, if it was a person or anybody. here though it's anything, and nothing had accomplished. Nothing had. We almost want to say here like a passive, nothing had been accomplished. But that's what it is. So you could say she had accomplished nothing, but we're really talking about the doctors here. That the doctors had accomplished nothing whatsoever. But she had, notice here, they had accomplished nothing, but she had worse more. We'd probably say, again, in normal English, that she was more worse, or she was worse off than when they came. This is a theme in the Gospels where sometimes Jesus will talk about if a demon gets cast out, sometimes the demon comes back and it's worse than before by the demon, because, that kind of idea. So here we have a doctor, or many doctors who have come to treat the lady, and they've made it worse than it was before. You see? So she had worsened. She had gotten worse. So we continue on. When she had heard, you see, that's a pluperfect subjunctive there off of the primal cum clause. She had heard about Jesus. She came, probably just a straight perfect here. We can't see that it's long, but we know what it is if we know the grammar. All right, so she came into the crowd, in plus accusative here, or she was in the crowd, sorry, in plus ablative, and she came in the crowd from behind, and she touched his garment, okay? Just like I've got this great jersey on representing the Sox, the Hawks, and the Bears. She touched Jesus' garment. I'm not sure what kind of jersey he was wearing. Definitely wasn't a Cubs jersey, I'll tell you that. Those losers on the north side. All right, then. So she touched his garment. For she said, and what we actually have here is probably not her speech, but we have her thinking something in her head, like a speech bubble, like you see in the Sunday comics, in the Chicago Tribune, whether that's a Dilbert or whatever you've got there, some great comic. Oh, pardon, 1 second. Yeah, come on in. Sorry, I've got a Giordano's delivery man bringing me a Chicago style pizza. I'm starving. Yeah, just put it down. Great. I'm so hungry. I've only eaten a couple of burgers tonight. Oh, that's so good. That hits the spot. That's great. All right, then. Back to the text. So she touched his garment. First, she said that if only I were to touch. Look at this here, this future perfect. See, this is a condition about the future. And what she's saying is, if I could touch his garment in the future, then after that, look, now we've got a future regular right next to it there. Just a standard future indicative. And what's interesting to me about this woman is her faith. It's already clear in her grammar. That doesn't make sense maybe if you're reading it in English, you see. But in Latin, it's obvious that she has strong faith because this is in the indicative. This isn't a future less vivid. This isn't unclear. This is a simple condition. This woman has a faith that if she were just to touch the garment, oh, pardon me, a little bit of that deep dish pizza came out. All right. That if she were to touch the garment, then she would be healed. And look, sure enough, that's clear in this future indicative and this future perfect. So she says, if only, probably if only, you could say if I were to, that'd be fine. But if I touched his garment, then I will be free. Will be healed, salva. And we've seen this already with our man who was demon possessed not too long ago, that he was saved. He was made whole. He was made well, right? So continuing. Then immediately her flow of blood, her fons sanguinis eus, their flow of blood. Again, the text is not super clear about where this flow is or what's going on. There could be some Jewish cleanliness laws being violated here. We don't know. She probably wouldn't have been allowed to go near other rabbis in that time, just because of the blood issue that she's suffering from. All right. So, but what happens to her is when she touches him, she immediately, the flow of her blood was dried up. This is the same word we would see for example, if we saw a word like what's it called when it doesn't rain? I don't know. Like you go to play the Arizona Cardinals, and there's never any rain down there. And the Bears win, of course, because they're the Bears. But anyway, so you go down there and what's that called? A drought. There we go. That's a word used for a drought, or an extreme drought would be a famine, right? So that's also called a staccatus. All right. So immediately the flow of her blood dried up, and she sensed in her body. Now, let me just say something real quick to us students here, that there's going to be something real strange going on in this text as people become aware of what's going on in their bodies. And we don't need to go into the whole being teenagers thing. It's been a long time since I was a teenager, students. But anyway, we don't need to go into that. But there's something really strange going on in this text that the woman, it's written in such a way, oh, I got a little bit of that sausage in my eye. Oh, it's burning me. All right. That she feels it. She feels it in her body, or she feels in her body that she had been made well. Now, this is interesting. They don't use the same verb here as she had been healed that we saw, but rather that she has sanata. We can, of course, see the word like sanos there, sane, whole, well, and that's what we've got here. So that she felt in her body that she had been made well from her sickness. We also use a different version here of the word sickness. We've seen a flow of blood. We have seen a flowing, a profusion of blood earlier in verse 26. But now what we've got is just a general word, her sickness that's been healed. All right. So she feels that she's been healed. And then this is probably the most interesting verse in the whole passage to me, and not to mention what's going to happen afterwards. But so far, this is just fascinating in this pericope. Immediately, Jesus knowing in himself. And that's, we actually have a double emphasis here of Jesus feeling it in semet ipso, in his very self. He knows it. Now, this is fascinating the way it's written, not only here in the Latin, but also in the original Greek. You have a grammatical sense that, when you've read a lot of text, as I have over the years, you can see that it's written in such a way that it's ambiguous. It's just a bit maybe hard to understand. It's not that, sorry, it's written in such a way that it's not meant to be super scientifically clear, so to speak, where he's thinking these things or where he's feeling these things. It's just that he knows it in himself. He becomes aware, kind of like she felt it in her body. It's a little different how Jesus is worded here, but he knows it in himself. And what does he know? He knows in himself the strength, the virtue. This word, let me just remind you that virtus in the Latin, in the original there, virtus really just means excellence, or again, strength, or toughness, the kind of things you would see in the Bears and Coach Ditka when they're out there on the field. There's just a lot of virtue, not necessarily mercy or love or faith or hope, but rather strength, raw strength that you see in the Bears. So that's what this is about, that he is aware that power has gone out. Pardon me. And pardon me, my pencil's not working here. I can't see it. Oh, there it is. All right. The strength that had gone out from him. So it's written in such a way that, notice again, even the strength had gone out, pluperfect, from him. Not that he had sent out the strength, or not that he had recognized something and done it, but rather that he is aware that it had gone out. Almost like he himself is passive in this action, so to speak. And so what does he do? He turned to the crowd and he said, "Who touched my clothes? Who touched my clothes?" And that's where we're going to stop for today. I want to ask one question of you to think about for our class, or pardon me, your class with your teacher on Monday. Hold on, let me get a little more pizza here before I ask my question. I'm just so hungry. I've only eaten a couple pies today. All right. That deep dish just hits the spot. Yeah. All right. So one thing I want to leave you with is this question of whether or not this is a rhetorical question or whether Jesus is really asking it. Think about that. Is Jesus really asking who did this, or is he asking rhetorically so that it would prompt a confrontation perhaps? Well, I'll leave that up to you, and you can talk to your teacher about that on Monday, I think, during your class. I'm sure y'all have a great weekend there. Enjoy the snow. Spring break is always the best time for a nice couple of snows to end out the season before, the Sox start playing baseball. So have a great night or day, whenever it is. Play in the snow well.